Alana Smentek-Duerr has a very interesting role. She works for the Department of Energy, but her real function is to coordinate and be part of what might loosely be called students or postgraduate students for ocean power. Would that be reasonable? Tell us in your own words about it.
So I'm representing the International Network on Offshore Renewable Energy, which we call INOR, and it's a group of about 1,000 graduate students and early young professionals within the offshore renewable energy industry. And we work as an interface between the students and the industry. Every year we have a symposium that brings together students between 50 and 70, and we talk about our research, which is really great, because as a graduate student sometimes you get really pigeonholed into your own research and you don't get to see the global picture. But we have these symposia once a year to bring students together, learn about their research, hopefully brainstorm, get ideas of what the real problems are that we need to tackle as researchers to then foster this industry, which is in its infancy.
What was the genesis of this group?
So in 2007, there were 4 students at the Technical University in Norway, in Trondheim, and they got together and they decided that they wanted to bring students together who were doing research like they were, because they wanted a global perspective of what was going on. And from those 4 students, they decided to have a symposium and brought together about 15 students. And from there, the group has grown. So 2007, we had about 20 members, and now in 2013, we have almost 1,000.
Alana, this is very important, isn't it? Because so much invention is done by young people.
Yes.
I mean, the story of Silicon Valley is young people. The story of great breakthroughs in technology is generally young people. Mm-hmm. Does this enable them to sell into their corporations and universities ideas that would otherwise be brushed aside or overlooked?
I think so. We offer collaborative grants to try to get students from different universities to work together who may not have even known of each other. So we like to, there's one example, we had a student from Denmark working with a student from Canada who without INOR wouldn't have known about each other, and they were able to take some modeling research that was being done in Canada with some physical experiments that were being done in Denmark and synergize that research to then come up with a publication that wouldn't have happened without INOR.
Can you point to any big successes, anything that have happened, designs that have been deployed, etc., because of the work of your members?
I can't think of anything specifically. I know that a lot of our members do end up going and working within industry, especially offshore wind. That's been a big driving factor for INOR, although it's not as prevalent in the United States. In Europe, most of our members work on offshore wind. So they become leaders at the labs and the places where they end up working. We have one of our members. He is working on wave devices in Portugal, and they're actually being installed. And so we are the future, and that companies, we bring in companies to these symposia to present what they're doing, but they're also looking to us as the base from where to hire.
You have a PhD, a doctorate.
Yes.
What is your discipline?
My discipline was resource assessment of for open ocean hydrokinetic, which is a very small field a very small field as it is. So I was looking at the Florida current as a source for open ocean hydrokinetic energy. A lot of people are focusing on tidal, and I could draw some comparisons with what was going on in tidal research to mine, but it was something that I came to the INOR symposium, and no one else was doing work like I was doing. So I was presenting something that was completely different to them, and I was learning so much from what has been going on in tidal research.
What are the problems outside of the big known things, but pollution, corrosion, these sorts of problems. We don't hear a lot about. Anything to do with the ocean involves corrosion. Navies know about this.
Right.
Everybody who's near the ocean knows about this. I
Yes.
went out with a marine research vessel once pulling up buoys in the Chesapeake Bay, and all their chains, electrolysis had done them in. They were just
Yes.
like, almost like pins. They were about to break.
Yes.
These sorts of things. Do you look at that kind of thing?
I mean, it's definitely one of the challenges. I think that within INOR, I don't know if we have a lot of people who are doing materials science, but that obviously is a big application, and we can draw from the experience. We have a lot of mechanical engineers who are involved and are aware of the corrosion issue. I don't know if a lot of people are specifically working on
Corrosion and electrolysis,
Yes.
which is a fascinating thing.
Yes, it is. I was working with some buoys that were moored out in the water, and unfortunately, some of them got lost because of corrosion. So it's something that is very important to me as doing resource assessment. Obviously, you are very concerned about your instruments staying in place and working all the time. I think some of the biggest challenges that this industry is facing are the sheer force that will be on these instruments. You put anything into the water, which has a lot of energy in it. That's why we're putting it into the water, to extract some of that energy. If you put it into such a harsh environment, you have very narrow windows where you can actually install things. You have a very narrow window where you can then go and fix them if they need to be fixed. And those are the kinds of problems that I've seen some of my colleagues try to tackle and say, here's our window. This is when we go. And develop a deployment plan based on that, the conditions that are out there.
That's totally fascinating. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Very nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much.